Yes, hello and welcome to A Celtic World, the YouTube channel and podcast made by Celtic fans all over the world for Celtic fans all over the world. And I hope you're hearing me clearly. Dara, are you hearing me clearly?
I hear you there, Gav.
Okay, good man. And Stephen, who's also been struggling with backstage issues, has just popped into the screen. Stephen, howdy.
Yeah, hello. Sorry, I'm late. I'm a old man struggling with tech issues. But I'm here now.
I mean, just a few weeks away from A Celtic World, and we all forget how to do everything. So maybe for the first couple of weeks, we should show up, 5 minutes before showtime rather than 1. Would that maybe help boys and girls at the back of the class? I think it might.
We'll try our best.
All right. How's everyone in the chat? Everyone's in there. So John Clements, I think that is. Lovely Monday to all. Mics are fine, says Craig. Well, Mike is fine. I have a feeling Dara's a bit low, but let us know, people out there, so that we can deal with it. Craig's getting ahead of a joke of mine that I'm going to unleash upon you later in the show. I'm doing my hair. Very good. Smell the glove. McLaughlin P is first in. So hello to everyone, and I sense there's a general mood of well-being about the place, Stephen. Do you think?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I mean the game was probably the first time, and as far as I can remember, where I've really enjoyed a game from start to finish. It was just so pleasant on the eye. There was some great football being played. There was nice movement, nice passing, and obviously a 35-minute hat trick from your brand new striker. So it doesn't really get any better than that. So I think there's an air of positivity about the place, coupled with the goings on the other side of the city. I think it's certainly contributed to that air of positivity. The fact that they're such a shambles, but I think we'll probably get into this discussion in more detail later. But obviously, we need to keep our feet in the ground. There are still some glaring issues, and there's a lot of work to do over the next week and a half, really. So yeah, plenty of work still to be done, but great stuff yesterday.
Absolutely was. Dara, you joined us last season, which was obviously just the grimmest time ever until the very end of it, which was more of a relief than, joyous and enjoyable. And well, it was for me anyway. I mean, I enjoyed it, the heck out of it. But as Stephen says, that was very pleasant at the weekend, wasn't
it? For me, that was one of the best Celtic performances for a while. And don't get me wrong, Kilmarnock weren't up to much, but going forward, it was positive. It was the two new lads I thought were excellent. Duran really brought something, and I can't wait to see him actually play up top. But playing out far right, I thought he was brilliant. He was a big difference as well. And the lad Hogh was just brilliant. 11 million well spent. About time Desmond opened up that checkbook, but delighted that he did.
Absolutely. John Clements here saying it takes Stephen a while to get his trackie on. Is that, Stephen, you're like that Russian guy, the one who's trying to put his top on? Or is it his trousers on? No, he's putting, whatever he's doing, he's putting the wrong thing on. You know the clip I mean?
Yeah, I do. And genuinely, that's a very, that's an accurate quote there from John, because it does take me a long time to get tracky bottoms on these days. And a number of times I've almost injured myself in the process, because it's just one of the signs of getting old, when you can't get both feet into a set of tracky bottoms without sitting on the bed first. So yeah, quite right. I don't have tracky. Yeah, but I mean, I live in a hot climate. We generally I don't have much need for tracky bottoms, but on the odd occasion I do wear them. Then I am running the risk of splitting my head open on the bedside cabinet. But I don't have them on today. You'll be happy to know. So it didn't take me long tonight. That wasn't the reason I was late on.
Okay, so you don't have your tracky bottoms on. I won't ask any further. But you just, you're, as I said, you're the athlete among us, Stephen. You just did like a run and a swim or something. What was that?
No, it was the annual City to Surf run that we have here in Sydney. It's a 14-kilometre run from the CBD out to Bondi Beach out in the eastern suburbs. So done that on Sunday. It's becoming a bit of an annual event. Me and my son do it together. I spend the whole time chasing after him, trying to keep up. So I am doing all right at 57 years young, still being able to do that sort of run. So yeah, good fun. Biggest
Quite
fun run in
hilly
the
at the
world.
end.
I'll have you know.
Say again.
It's the biggest fun run in the world. It's 90,000 people do it.
It's done quite a steep hill into Bondi. You don't lose the run of yourself there, and your feet move faster than your brain can cope with.
Yeah, you can get away for yourself a little bit. Actually, there's a steep climb as well, which they euphemistically call Heartbreak Hill. So you climb up that hill, and before you go down the big run into Bondi, but it's good fun.
Mm-hmm. And just before we get into the business, it's the first time we've seen you, Dara, since the holidays. You were in Canada.
I was in America, and we flew out, like, because my wife's parents live there, and we had a wedding ceremony at LASK. We've been married 2 years, but we had an official ceremony with friends and family, so that was a big thing. I wasn't running, I was just drinking. So and well, I mean, trying to get back to Malaysia is crazy. It's 30 something hours of travel because we're on such a small island with less and less flights all the time, but we had a good time. It was 3 weeks away, so
all right, well, we better get into the game because I see the comments are coming in thick and fast. So let's have a look at this. This is the thumbnail. Start us off with Killy in the name of, which sort of evokes thoughts of, energetic music, heavy metal music, as what's his name? Jurgen Klopp talks about. Lots of goals, lots of action, long hair. And of course, in the name of maybe suggests, well, what was it? All glory to Stephen and Dara. In the name of our Lord. And every post-match interview we hear from Kasperhogh is going to start with a little invocation of the creator of all things, heaven and earth. Seems.
We'll let him have it. If he keeps scoring, we'll let him have it.
Yeah, he can praise whoever he fancies. At least when we get hammered in the Champions League, we'll know whose fault it was. So, all right. So that's the thumbnail. And team news, nice new graphic here for you to get stuck into, Stephen. Are you enjoying that? The new team sheets?
Yeah, that is nice. That is a sign that we are a modern progressive football club, and we do have a new graphic for the team list. So you got to give credit where it's due. So that is good. Same team as last week. No changes, and I guess the big talking point in that team is whether Duran was going to play on the right or the left, and whether he was going to play. They were going to try and squeeze the two strikers into the one team. But it was as you were. It was the same as the Dundee game. He was playing on the right. Swapped over a couple of times during the game. And I honestly, I don't know. I think I always prefer Yang on the right hand side because he's all right footed and he's more likely to go on the outside of his man on that side. But for some reason, probably to do with cutting in and having a shot, which he did on a number of occasions, they want him to play on the opposite side. I'm not too sure whether that's sustainable. Obviously we hope we're going to sign a wide player at some point. And what happens after that will be very interesting, whether they do actually try a different formation or whether he just sits on the bench and like rotates the striking position with Hogh. So that will be interesting to see. But I think like this was a better performance from him than the first game of the season. He really looked dangerous at times, and it was ultimately quite unlucky not to score.
Well, let's get into the action because we've got loads and loads of photos to go through because there was so much action. 2 minutes. Yang tackled and the ball breaks to KT. This is the first goal coming up. And KT plays the ball down the line there or up towards Engels. And this first touch that Engels takes, Dara, in order for him to be able to like not break his stride, pure quality.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And when I saw the cross, I was like, did he mishit this? Was this a shot?
Yeah.
Because you don't see how, and when you see the replay, how he breaks off the back, like from here, and how he managed to be at the back post. And it's the easiest goal he's going to score, but it was a great way to start that game. It settled nerves as well because a bit of frustration from last Monday as well. So it helps.
As you say, at this point here, you're not sure whether he's spooned it, because he gets a lot of height on the cross immediately. It was a strange connection.
He hit it really weird, but it was a deft touch at least, and the keeper was nowhere.
Yeah, it made it a pretty simple effort for Hugh to rise like a salmon at the back post there, Stephen, like you in your younger days.
Oh yes, that was very reminiscent of me, even down to the man bun. Yeah, I think you've got to give Engels credit for that. I think I don't know whether he meant to put it right on that spot, but I do think he meant to stand it up because they know that they have got a target in the box now for crosses like that. Whereas before you maybe have, Daiza Maeda in there, or you might have had Iniacho, who are not the best in the air, but now you've got a guy in there that's going to get on the end of headers, and some of his running off the ball was so intelligent, and you can see combinations starting to break out all over the pitch between the wingers and Hogh, and also between Nygren and Hogh. He's getting, his link-up play is brilliant, and Engels was outstanding yesterday in the way he provided service into Hogh, and I think you've got to give him credit for that. It was a brilliant cross, and whether or not he's kind of mishit it a little bit, it was definitely a cross. And Hogh's running was so intelligent. He's just run off the back of the defender and found himself with an empty net. So a very simple finish in the end, but well worked goal.
I can hear Paul from a Celtic World tearing his hair out at the very suggestion that wasn't a perfectly executed cross and entirely meant in every way by the very talented Arnie Engels. But, it's debatable. We'll leave it at that. It was a good cross. He had a brilliant game and probably added another couple of million to the sum that West Ham are prepared to stump up, I would think. Hopefully he doesn't go. But anyway, let's move it on quickly. 3 minutes. It was a bit harem-scarum at this stage of the game, Dara. They were sort of getting through quite a lot after we scored. The game hadn't really settled down. This was the one that Trusty ultimately cleared. Trusty, who came in for some abuse from you on the group chat.
He's too relaxed. He's too lackadaisy. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't. I don't trust him. I don't think he's good enough. And like it's the way to get Liam Scales back in there. But I think like CCV and Scales is the partnership, and they do need another centre half at that rate as well. But I don't think Trusty is good enough.
Okay, well, he's good enough here, certainly. Cleared it off.
Yeah, there.
All right, Duran had an effort here on not on 4 minutes. I don't have the minutes here, but yeah, he had a few efforts. This one just flashed wide. Kilty then got through again. He was a bit of a bugbear in the early stages, but ultimately that one went wide after a Sinisalo touch. Sinisalo was again alert to the danger when the ball spooned up and could have just crept in under the bar. But Yeah, he did all right there. Thought he had a reasonable game. Right, this is the next goal, Stephen, for you to talk us through. Possession has just turned over. KT's leading the charge.
Yeah, so Tierney was excellent again. I think he's really back to his best now. And he's almost exactly the player that we lost when he left to Arsenal. Only now he's a few years older and more experienced. He was magnificent in this game. If there wasn't, if Hugh hadn't scored a hat trick and a couple of other players played really well, but I thought Tierney was right up there in terms of man of the match performances. And you can see his position here. That's a textbook inverted fullback position. And he played that role really, really well yesterday, as well as go down the outside quite often as well. And he slid that ball into, I think it's Nygren, who squares it across for Hugh to curl a nice finish into the bottom corner. Keeper gets a touch
I think
on
I may have fed you incorrect information. Maybe this isn't the next goal. Let's see how it unfolds. Yeah, he feeds it out to Engels, and then Engels cuts it back in for Nygren, who has the shot.
Oh, yeah. That's the one the keeper saved.
About that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Amazingly well.
It was a very similar move to the goal, but in this occasion it lands at Nygren, and he has a really good effort on goal. He must have thought he'd scored, but the keeper managed to get a hand on it and touches it on the crossbar. So Nygren was another one that I thought was excellent, and he's really benefiting from having Hugh in the team. He's just playing round about him, picking up on knockdowns and layoffs, and the two of them seem to be forming a great understanding.
Mm-hmm. And then Hugh with a follow-up header gets a fair bit of power on it, but keeper saves again. And then the moment is lost. Good link-up play here between Duran and AJ. He had some really nice touches, Duran. I think it's easy for his early stage Celtic career to sort of go under the radar, Dara, because of Hugh, but he's doing a lot of things right here. Releases AJ. AJ cuts it back inside. And then Duran, I think he was cutting it back inside to Nygren here, but Duran runs onto it, gets the touch, and you can see it's about to spin out to 63 there, KT, Dara. But the shot, straight at the keeper.
Yeah. There was a poor attempt, but it was a great move. And like Duran did a lot of good things, Jesse. He's lively. And the only thing was missing from was a goal yesterday. I really thought he was excellent until they took him off.
Yeah. No, he was. Just looking at the comments here, see if there's any I need to drop in. It's a tactical review on later. It certainly is. You can look forward to Paul highlighting every touch of Arnie Engels in that, no doubt. Don't know if he watches this before the tactical review, but if he does, it would be quite funny. I mean, we all agree he had a great game. All right, so there was that moment. So here we are now. Cal Mack picks up a loose pass, and as some people have made the point earlier, Stephen, Kilmarnock were very generous hosts, weren't they? They were very gracious, really, throughout this game. Mahesh is talking about how it was a train wreck by Killie. Worst back four in the league. Their manager decides to commit tactical suicide by trying to go toe-to-toe with Celtic. Hard to argue with that, or would you like to?
Yeah, he tried to go. No, yeah, I think that's absolutely bang on. Tactically, they were very poor, but they also committed some really, really dreadful errors, trying to play out from the back. And I've been banging on and on and on for a long time, but I don't know why teams like Kilmarnock insist on playing out for the back when you've got players there that are not capable of doing it, especially when they get themselves into tight situations. They've got big. They had a big set. That is it, John? What did you call the big centre forward? John James, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, sounds familiar,
and so they could have launched it to him, used his physicality and played off of that. But they tried to try to match up with us and leave us 3 against 3 at the back to give them an extra man in midfield so they could press us high, but it didn't work, and they just kept on coughing up possession. And they had when I say it didn't work, it did work for them early on when they were kind of overloading our midfield a bit, and it did give them a few early chances. But as the game, they get like halfway through the first half onwards, we just took control of the game, and they just started giving it away. And your man in the dugout for them is obviously not a very good manager, and not very good at setting out teams. So I can see what Mahesh is saying there. It shouldn't take away from some of the good football Celtic played, but I can see Kilmarnock are really going to struggle this year. They struggled last year as well. They were down near the relegation zone, and I think they'll be there again. But we still played well. You still have to go and beat them and score the goals, and we did that. So it was a bit of both, really. Good performance by Celtic and pretty tactically naive by Kilmarnock.
9 goals they've conceded in their first 2 games. And, we give teams grief for parking the bus and playing around ball and all the rest of it. So, in a sense, good on him for trying to get them to play football. But, maybe he's doing
I think that's why
Wilfred Nancy too much of a change,
Yeah, I think that's why not very many teams do it, because you're liable. If it goes wrong, you're liable to be on the end of a pumping. And he got booed off by his own fans at half time. So if he doesn't sort that out soon, then he'll be out of a job sooner rather than later. So they're going to have to tighten up at some point. I don't really give a shit if he's out of a job or not. He's a wee dick anyway. But if he wants to keep his job, then he's going to have to. They're going to have to tighten up.
I just checked Sky Sports to see if he was sacked or not. No joy.
Jeez, that would be quick acting. All right, well, back to the game. As I say, McGregor picks up a loose pass from them. They surrender possession here, which is not a good spot. Out to Duran again, who carries it for a bit and then releases Negrin. And then Negrin's pass finds its way to Kasperhogh, who finishes pretty smartly, Dara.
Yeah, it was another nice goal. It was a great move. Like the goals yesterday, bar the keeper's mistake, there was nice moves to them all, or to the build up, even the corner. So it was good team play all around. But he's a Ruud van Nistelrooy type in the box, which is something to be crying out for, especially in that league as well. If you can get balls in early and fast, and 3 goals in 2 games is pretty impressive.
3 goals in 1 game is pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, he played on Monday, but yeah,
for sure. Well, you talk about good team goals and passages of play leading up to the goals. The third for me was the best in terms of that. Stephen, can you talk us through it? It starts with a CCV interception, sort of back in our third.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I can remember all the details of this goal. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it back again since I watched it live, but it was quite late at night here in Sydney. So I do remember it was some really nice interchange I played down the right-hand side.
CCV intercepts, and it sort of bounces out to McGregor, who takes it down and sort of flicks it there to Yang, who manages to control it, and then with a little flick onto Negrin, takes out these 2 on-rushing Killy midfielders. And then Negrin sort of in, and that line is broken. And then Negrin plays it out to Duran, and the next photo is quite interesting because everyone's kind of traveling roughly in the same direction there. But look here, you can see he's already changed direction, Stephen. And Kasper's heading one place where nobody else is.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having an intelligent striker up there, and who has got good movement and good athleticism. And this was another excellent cross from Duran. And there's certainly, if there was a doubt about the Engels one, there's no doubt about this one. he absolutely aimed. He looked up and he saw who making that run, and he's aimed to put that ball on his head. And again, he's ended up with an open goal and a simple finish, but it's anything but simple to get yourself into that position. And the cross was just, it was a thing of beauty. The cross, and you're right when you say it was probably the best goal in terms of a team move with so many different players getting a touch on it. So that was great. But Duran's cross was the highlight of that move for me, and brilliant to see. Brilliant to see Hogh getting a hat trick in such a short space of time, because you could already see, that some of the media comments about him, maybe he needs to get off the mark, and he's obviously a really confident guy, and he wasn't bothered, he wasn't perturbed by the fact he missed a few chances against Dundee. And I think he knew he would come good when he got the service. So great to see him getting that monkey off his back early. It's always good to get your first goal and to get your first hat trick. I believe that's the first hat trick he's ever scored in his professional career, which is surprising, yeah. And he'll take a lot of confidence from that, and I can only see him scoring a bucket load of goals for us this year. And if we can, sort out some good wide players to be supplying service into him, I mean, you couldn't get any better service than what Duran provided for that goal. But if you had, someone on the other side, I mean, God love Yang, he is what he is, but you could always upgrade. That's what the one glaring position of the team where we could upgrade. And if you had a good winger on that side, then he's shown he can find pockets of space in the box, and he'll score goals by the barrel load.
Well, hopefully we will have soon, but remains to be seen. Mark Duffy asking, can't wait to hear your Who song. Is it going to be Ho 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 It's Magic, or Kasperhogh instead of Doctor Who? Haven't quite decided, Like every time I'm out in the car and a song comes on that roughly fits the bill, and they're trying to see, how do I crowbar that in? I don't want to do anything too obvious. There are 5 new tracks that have been made over the low season. You'll be excited to hear 5 new songs that will, be released when appropriate. But none of them are about our new signings. It's also good to have some footage of them doing good things in a Celtic shirt as well to go with the song. But some comments there from Mahesh and others about the back four, and the goalkeeper had a brilliant game until he didn't. And certainly the start of the second half, he didn't cover himself in glory, Dara.
No, that was a stinker. I don't know what he thought he saw, but he had time to look up and actually either go long or out wide. This playing out from the back with players that aren't of the quality to do it is just bananas. It's crazy. And I mean, you're giving it to one of Celtic's best players. Negron's going to score from there. He could have taken the shot there and it would have been in the back of the net. But yeah.
You just know he's scoring. I'd rather the ball fell to him than anyone else in that scenario, because he's calm and he just gives it a bit of elevation, and you just know it's going in the whole time.
I thought with the keeper, I actually thought he was having a great game up until he sliced the ball out of play when he was trying to play a ball out to the line. And then you saw his head was gone, and then the goals started coming, because I think that was still only 1-0 then. And then he just kind of fell apart. But 12 shots he saved and still can see it's 5. It's crazy.
Yeah. That was a shame for him. Yeah. We've got some... keep your suggestions coming in about what the Kasperhogh song could be. I mean...
I think this is maybe a good time. This is maybe a good time to show some love to Benji Negron, though, because he's not a guy who you would describe as a favourite among the Celtic support. An opinion has been deeply divided about him, to be honest. But he was excellent yesterday, And I think, having that sort of striker in the team is going to unlock his game an awful lot. So he was brilliant, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's a sort of guy. He was a sort of weird one last season because he was scoring so many goals, but still getting criticised for his performances. But you're right. He's the one player in the team who you would want that to drop to, and there was certainly absolutely no doubt where that was going to end up.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean he seems to, be in lockstep with Kasperhogh. So if the two of them can be bosom buddies and, combining left, right, and centre and scoring hatfuls of goals, it's amazing, He can do that celebration all he wants, and that thing as well, where they try and G up the crowd, both of which annoy me, but I'm going to not get annoyed by them if he's scoring loads of goals and helping the team.
No one cared
like
about his goals. No one complained about his goals. It was work rate as well. He can drift in and out of games, but he had a string on it yesterday. Yeah. I was thinking this all day. I didn't hear Callum McGregor's name yesterday until maybe 10 or 15 minutes in. But then you see the clips of all the little things he did and getting the ball forward. That's what I'm saying. And then someone Maresh just said he was really good getting the ball forward. And it's true, he was excellent. But it's one of those, you don't have to hear him every couple of minutes. But he just does, he keeps it ticking. That's the big thing. Him and Engels did.
Yeah. Yeah, so plenty of love for Negrin after this game, that's for sure. All right then. Duran, someone was saying that they don't get the criticism of Duran. I didn't see much criticism. Were there people saying he's not up to much? I thought he had a fine game.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone criticising him. I thought he was really good. But you never know what someone said on social media these days. After the Dundee game the other day,
you'll find it.
Yeah, there's somebody said that Kasperhogh was the worst signing Celtic had ever made. That was after one game. Considering there's a lot of competition for that title, that was quite a call. I wonder where that guy is now. Probably, just coming up with some other ridiculous take about this game. But
he's not Sky Sports.
Yeah. I mean, Duran was fine. He was brilliant. I thought he did really well considering he's playing out of position. He showed a good ton of speed. He showed good strength, as you mentioned earlier. He linked up well with AJ, and he hit the bar at one point with a really good shot. So unlucky not to score. Yeah, right that's there. It. So yeah, I think there's definitely a player there. And when we get the rest of the team sorted round about him, you can see him. I was actually hoping, I know there was a bit of debate about whether they were going to bring on Callum Osmond a bit earlier, but I was actually hoping they would take Hogh off maybe about 10-15 minutes into the second half and give Duran a spell central, put Forrest the right hand side and put Duran central for a bit, just to make him feel as if he's he's getting a bit of love in there, because that's where he wants to play, and I think we have to be quite aware of that. And I think he deserves an opportunity to show what he can do as a central striker. So in a game like that, we know what Callum Osmond is, and I know he needs minutes as well. And that's just an issue that we're going to have to deal with as the season progresses. But I would have liked to have seen maybe for a 10 or a 15-minute spell, Duran through the middle.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him get a goal, see him get off the mark, as well. So you don't want him thinking he's too much in the shadow. Their goal was a lot like our second goal. Even the finish there, the keeper didn't get a hand to that one, but it was very well worked. Nice tidy build-up. Well done, Killy. As people have said, pretty good going forward. But, suicidal at the back.
I think it's maybe worth, just sorry, Gav, it's just maybe worth pointing out for that goal that I reckon Colby Donovan was at fault for that goal. You know, he just got caught ball watching, and ended up letting the guy. He was no idea the guy was in behind him, and that's the problem. If you're looking for some negatives from the game, you can see the drop off when Alistair Johnson is off, and that almost straight away. You know, within 10, 15 minutes of AJ being off, we could see the goal like that comes from this position. And I think quite simply we don't lose that goal if AJ is there. I don't rate Donovan at all. I think he's a terrible player. I think it's great. We all love to see academy prospects coming through, and it would be brilliant if someone did. But Donovan's not that guy. And I don't think if there's anyone at Celtic of the opinion that Donovan can step in if AJ gets sold, then they need to be quickly availed of that notion, because that can't happen if we do end up selling AJ. And I really hope they try and keep him for another year. I would even offer him a pay rise, a contract upgrade, and maybe a promise that he'll get his move next year. But I don't think I don't think they'll certainly if he does go, we have to sign a replacement, because Donovan's not it. And Ralston, we know definitely isn't it. So he was badly at fault for that goal, and didn't really do much for his own sort of reputation in the rest of the game.
Well, no time for Debbie Downers today. Let's take that point and move on. Tenecti even looked a wee bit lively, did he not, Dara? Had a couple of runs at them. Put this cross in here. Another one into the back post.
Yeah, like, I mean, he
almost scored.
He came on like a man with a mission, trying to earn a spot in the starting 11, in fairness, and he did okay. They were easy to get at no matter what. There's not much to take from it, but I mean, he was decent when he came on. You wouldn't be complaining about him. But game basically over at that point. But yeah, he was positive.
Yeah, you know, there's a part of me.
I mean, he should have scored. If you're looking for a criticism, he had a great chance to score.
Oh, he did have a great chance. Well, we're not looking for a criticism, because I was wanting to say that Tenecti, Stephen, if you haven't frozen, maybe Stephen's frozen, has he?
No.
Tenecti strikes me as the kind of player that I have not entirely given up hope in him. I think, you know, he could be trained. He could maybe come onto a game. You know, I haven't given up hope in him. Have either of you got any shred of hope left that Tenecti could still be a meaningful first team player?
Well, he had some moments at the back end when we needed going forward and everything else, but it's just about putting the 90 minutes together or for 60. So yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, you have someone there like Sean Maloney who was dangerous going forward. If he can bring him under his wing with the rest that's there, he could be anything. Could be terrible, but he could be anything. It's a wait and see.
I mean, we've put in so many years into Yang, Stephen. Should we not afford Tenecti a bit of grace?
Yeah,
I think so. And last year, I agreed with what you were saying, Gav. I think, you know, there was definitely a lot of positive things about Tenecti's game. But what I will say is he's running out of time. You don't get an infinite amount of time at Celtic to nail down a position. And at the moment, he just looks as if he's just lacking an end product. He looks as if he's got a bit of a trick in him. He's got a bit of a step over. He's got a bit of pace. But there was one he cut in on his favoured foot, and he just blootered it miles wide. And then the other one, he had the chance. He had an absolutely simple finish, and Chris Sutton was very critical of him in commentary. And he just fluffed it, just fluffed his lines. And I just think he's running out of time. I think Celtic will go and sign at least one wide player, if not maybe even two. And that's going to knock him down the pecking order. So games like yesterday, he really had to grab his chance, because, you know, there are going to be new wide players arriving at the club, and he needs to be trying to nail down a first team position. And at the moment, you wouldn't be starting him in games. I think that's for sure. And I think, time's running out for him. I think this is probably a make or break season for him. If we don't see some real progression for him, then it might be the end for him by the end of this year.
Well, we'll see what happens. There's always a few surprises during the season, isn't there? He might be one of them. So this is Kasperhogh hitting the post again with a header, back stick, and then the ball comes out to Yang, who makes a bit of a balls of the overhead kick. So he's another player. Remains to be seen what this season has in store for him. We'll see. Anyone want to make a bold suggestion that he's going to continue his improvement? I know some other Celtic YouTubers like Quinny is a big fan of how much he has improved and the improvement trajectory that he sees in Yang. But I'm not so sure.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. I thought he was awful yesterday. He had a few glimpses, but in a game where Celtic were getting so much space and playing so well in a fluid way, I thought he was just awful. He kind of fell over the ball a couple of times. His control, his first touch looked to be poor, and that that overhead kick effort there, that was just I mean, it was a bold effort, but it was sort of not a surprise at all to see him making a bit of a mess of it. So I think everything I've just said a minute ago about Teneke, you can probably say about Yang. He's just going to drop down the pecking order with any new wide players that come in, hopefully. And I think if he doesn't make it this year, he could be looking for another team next year. I don't see the improvement in him. I think he is what he's always been. He shows up occasionally and does some good things in a game, but he's got far too many dreadful performances in him to be a first pick, and that's definitely one of the positions that the most glaring position that we need an upgrade in is in the wide areas.
Right, set piece then from Arnie Engels, nice whipped in corner. Another good contribution from him. It was a sort of near post header opportunity here that Trusty didn't quite get in on. But then the ball fizzed through and bounced around a bit. And who was closest to it but young Luke McCowan, who I think surprised himself and everyone else with the quality of the touch he got to take it past the keeper. Are you delighted to see that, Dara? His first touch in the game?
Impact sub. Yeah, I think I gotten up. I was watching upstairs, and I think I got up to go to the bathroom, and I just heard the shout of I heard the telly going off. I had to come back and look at it, and I was like, I don't even know when he came on. I think I was gone that long. And yeah, first touch, but a goal.
Stephen's not in a Yang gang. Well, I'm hoping that he has some good moments, because one of the 5 songs is in honor of Yang, so he better do something. But Merzuno here doesn't seem to hold out much hope. Reckons he's statistically one of the worst wingers in a poor league. Yeah, okay, all right. So that was that goal. That was great. And this is Engels again here. Look, giving West Ham another nudge, Stephen, with this beautiful outside of the foot penetrative pass up to Forrest. His highlights reel from this game alone would convince you.
Yeah, he had a wonderful game, and this was a great pass. I don't think anybody could ever have seen that, would even have seen that pass, let alone attempt it. I mean, the obvious pass is down the channel there on the left-hand side to, I think it's Teneke who's making that run, but he's picked out James Forrest running through the middle there, absolutely nailed the pass right in a Forrest path. Unfortunately, his first touch took him a bit wide, and he's ended up sort of hacking at it a bit, and I think he put it past the post. But Engels, wonderful performance, absolutely great. I mean, you could say he benefited from Kilmarnock's tactics, which gave him a lot more space in the middle of the park. but he was first class, and I think I've been a big fan of his for the whole time he's been in Celtic, and I think his contribution to the run-in last season can't be overstated. And the midfield was just not going nowhere before he came back from his injury, and we really started to, I won't say play well, but we really started to get results after he came back into the team. So it's going to be a problem for us if he goes. He has to be replaced. There's no one else there who can step into that role without a massive drop in quality and in fitness and in energy. So we're going to have to find someone. It does look as if he's going to be off, and we're going to have to replace him with someone of at least equal quality, and someone with the same ability to get around the pitch as well as he does, because there's no one else can do that. Certainly not McCowan, not Oxlade-Chamberlain, and there's just no one else to step into that role.
Paul in the group chat there reckons it was possibly his best performance for us. And that's what frustrates me about Engels is, the best is yet to come with him. It's like he's sort of done his apprenticeship with us, and now he's ready to be a proper player, just in time to leave us. It's really
it's the killer with that league. Like it's happened with so many players, and in fairness, Celtic have done it so often to other teams that you snap up their best player, and he is going to go. I think he could go to the Premier League. I think West Ham, I don't know, will they go straight back up? He'll be good in the Championship. He'll be great in the Championship, but I mean, I say Premier League, but then you look at what happened to O'Reilly. It never really worked for him, but I think he's better than O'Reilly is, so it's sad, but they'll cash in. But he put some figures on his fee yesterday for sure.
It was a great overall performance. Don't know if you saw any of the stats here, but 33 shots on goal. 33 shots, 16 on target, 7 big chances missed. The score could have been even more impressive than 5-1. 601 accurate passes compared to their 301. Yeah, so some good stats there. Attacking stats. 16 on target, 10 off target. Hit the woodwork 3 times. This tells its own story. Yeah, all good. Some player ratings here. I'll just read these out, and then you tell me, Stephen, maybe you can pick one out to discuss. Sinisalo 7, Johnson 7, although he was off at 49 minutes. Austin Trusty 6, Carter Vickers 6, Tierney 7, Colby Donovan 5.
Yeah, I think I might go into bat a bit for Austin Trusty. I didn't really get a chance to sort of do a bit of a rebuttal for what Darren was saying earlier on when he slaughtered them. I thought Trusty was quite good. I think in both games this season against Dundee as well, I think he had a good game there. And I don't think Scales comes back into the team. I think he's going to have to bide his time. I think it has to be either Scales or Trusty, because both of them are left-sided with CCV on the right. And I think Trusty done okay. I think he done a lot of that last gasp defending, got a few last gasp tackles in, and was fairly solid against quite a physical centre forward, the sort of guy who usually gives him a bit of bother. Probably helped by the way Kilmarnock were playing, but I think he was fine, and I would have gave him more than 6 out of 10. And CCV, I thought the back four, with the starting back four were all pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do the same for the midfield, Dara. Callum McGregor 7, Arnie Engels 8, Benji Negron 6, Luke McCown 7. It's a bit odd.
Yeah. I mean, Negron got really low ball there with a 6. I think it's one of the better performances I've seen from him, as we've already said. He was pulling strings, he was moving, he was involved, he got his goal. An easy one, but I mean, not easier than McCown. And I don't really know what he did after that. So, I don't know, where did you pull these from, Gav?
Yeah, I think it was what do you call the 67 channel?
On
The
67
channel
Hill.
67 Hill. Yeah. Well, there's other dodgy ones here as well. I mean, how can Yang get 7 and Duran get 7? That makes no sense to me. Casper 9, Tenecti 6, Forrest 7, Callum Osmond 6. Yeah, I mean, these are just opinions that some person writes, aren't they? So
Tenecki gets a 7 and Negrin gets a 6. You know, the maths aren't mathing there. You know, Tenecki was only on for half the game, and you know, Negrin for me was up there with the. You know, if it wasn't for who scoring the hat trick, he'd have been up there contender for man of the match. So that's yeah, bollocks. I think we can file that under a load of bollocks.
yeah, I can't be certain. The lawyers are telling me that I have to say I can't be certain it was 67 Hill, but I think it was. And somebody else is giving it type to Quinny in the comments as well. So we love all Celtic content
Yeah,
creators.
we do. There's a lot of shade being thrown around against Celtic contact creators online. I know poor old Paul John Dykes is getting it tight from a lot of different anonymous Twitter accounts these days, and he's fighting a really solid battle against them. It seems to be every day he's getting into big long Twitter spats with some twat or other who's clearly just a bored plant there to, and maybe going off topic a bit here, but you know there is a suggestion that the club are actively trying to get in the ear of ex-Celtic players, and that's what Paul John Dykes does. He puts events on with ex-Celtic players and sells tickets, and that's his business. That's the business model. And Celtic are actively trying to go after that, and I think it's just disgraceful, really. You know, I haven't been to any of his evenings or any of the events he put on, but I believe they're really good nights, and they're really worth going to. And if I was home and one of these was on, I would definitely go. And Axom, you know, it's not they're not like really subversive. They're not really, you know, viciously anti anything. They're generally just normal Celtic fans who just come on there and give their opinion. And Paul John's doing as far as I can see, he's doing a great job for the Celtic support, and for the club to be going after him the way they are is nothing short of despicable. But you know, sadly, it's par for the course these days.
Should we maybe try and harness this and like get the club to come after us? That might be good for our profile. You know, what can we do to really upset them?
I don't know. Do we see something like
nobody knows we're here on the second board.
Dermot's a wanker. If we all just Dermot's a wanker, say it all together.
Great night, says Paddy Lavery. Oh, I've got a picture actually. Paddy got a signature recently. Let me just show this, because sometimes Paddy sends me things and I don't put them up and he gets upset with me. This is from the audience with Didier Agat. To Paddy Lavery, best wishes. And it also says, God bless you here. It must be contagious. So yeah, I know Paddy goes to a few of those, puts on events himself in Belfast. So he understands how much work goes into these things. That's for sure. All right, so this is how the tables look.
If ever they have one of these events in Sydney, then I'll be all over it.
Yeah, you should put one on in Sydney. An evening with the maestro, but he doesn't do those things.
Yeah,
not much.
Good idea.
So there we are, top of the tree. That's good to see, innit? Got to be happy with that. Down in 9th, our supposed rivals, which is always pleasant. Did you enjoy what happened over on the other side of the city, Dara?
It's always great. It's always great. I don't know how that goal went in, but we'll take it every day of the week. It's just great to see them being shit.
Mm-hmm. Did you see they conceded a penalty, which was outrageous here? I've got a little sort of what's the word? Looping clip of the penalty, because all I heard was the outrage. It was never a penalty and blah, blah, blah. And then I saw it. The guy is challenging for the ball and he goes over. Absolute stonewalla, Stephen.
Well, I think. No, I don't think it was a stonewaller. I think, you know, if that'd been given against Celtic, I think we'd have been a bit annoyed. But
I've been
having said
annoyed with the
that,
defender.
yeah, having said that, apparently there's been a directive given out to referees that sort of incident is to be penalised with a penalty, and clearly the defender's not looking at the ball, so he's trying to play the man. But you know that sort of thing happens. It's been happening a lot in penalty areas over for years in football and not being penalised. So if they've started penalising it, I mean, I'm all for it. You know, as long as they're consistent about it. But I can see, you know, I'm the happiest man on the planet that the penalty was given, and the whole thing over there is just a massively hilarious to me. And you know, let's have more of it. But I think if it was given against us, I think we'd have been a bit annoyed. Well, I certainly would have been.
So Stephen wants to see a bit more suffering from the Rangers and their fans. This fellow certainly suffered when the winning goal went in.
Oh, fucking hell! Oh, come on, man! What the fuck is that? Oh, come on, man! Fucking hell! I can't. I can't do this anymore. I can't fucking do this anymore. I cannot fucking believe. Oh my. Oh my god, I can't actually do this anymore.
There's a wee bit more of that. I hope you could hear that fine. I can't, as I told you, for some reason. Was that all coming across the volume?
Yeah.
Those noises he made, the crying. I mean, that seemed real, like the crying at the start, even though he was
all these
showboating whatever. Yeah.
all these lads who do them watch along things need their hard drives checked. They're all weird, and I don't care if anyone's listened does it. It makes me get really weird about it. It's all performative. Is what I'm trying to say.
I assume you're not talking about a Celtic world watch-alongs.
No. The ones that are performative, like your man for Liverpool. Your man, what's his name? The big fat Irish guy who does the Liverpool ones, and it's always the meltdowns, but it's all for the views.
Sure.
And that fella's English that's crying there.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I think I agree with you, Dad. I think a lot of it's performative, but that there was some real, you know, heartbreak in that voice there. There was some real travesty. He was. I think that was real. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he was genuinely devastated and making some really unworldly noises there. You know, it just wasn't right. I hope someone's checked up on him this morning just to make sure he's all right.
Hope he made it to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's just round out the show as we're coming up to the hour here. With a little bit of talk about possible additions to the squad. This would sell a lot of jerseys if Nick Pope was to join as a goalkeeper. This story doesn't seem to be going away. I have a funny feeling there's plenty in this. He's been told he can leave Newcastle United this summer. 34-year-old. Wouldn't be unlike Celtic to do this, would it, Dara?
As spoken about before, I think Nick Pope is good, but look, if you get him in on a 2-year deal, don't pay him really stupid money, and he buys in the way Joe Hart did and Kasper did for the main part of it all. I think it's a great move. But do you want to replace Sinisala, who seems to be Martin O'Neill's first choice? Well, it's all he has, don't get me wrong, but he could have moved earlier in the window. So I don't know. I like him, but you have to make sure you're getting the proper buy-in and not paying him stupid money just to come up and win a league title.
Well, hopefully Hassan crosses the line, Stephen. That story is just going on forever, but does it seem to be inching towards a conclusion? Stephen?
I haven't a clue, to be honest with you. I mean, that's when you consider Hassan, Mika Bauer is another one, which is seemingly being just about to be completed or just in the final stages of being all agreed and settled on. It seems to be weeks now, and I think it was more or less. I think it was the day after we recorded last Monday's show. The news broke about Hassan, and he was just about to sign, and it was all done, and it was just a few minor details being ironed out, But here we are a week later, and still no positive confirmation whether he's signed or not. So unless something's happened where we've been on air, then it's enormously infuriating.
Nothing on Sky. I just checked there as well.
I mean, if that's been confirmed, then
I don't know if it has.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a million different people have said that it's.
Yeah. Sometimes things can seem to be going incredibly smoothly and you're on a high, and then you end up in a big dark hole, and like this guy in Brazil. Did you see this? Scores a goal, jumps over the hoardings.
That was brilliant.
Oh no.
Yeah. Do you know what the funniest thing about that was?
What's that?
The goal got ruled out by VAR.
Oh no. He injured himself.
Jumped the barrier, straight down a hole in the ground, injured himself, and then VAR's chalked the goal off.
Oh dear. That was in Curitiba in Brazil. Working hard on the work permit. Yeah, that can be a bit of an issue.
Yeah. That's just the latest in a long line of excuses, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And then, we referenced earlier, something to do with me being a baldy. Can't remember what it was exactly. And people saying, like, Kasper's man bun is the worst thing about him, said somebody. But I see this is now available for purchase. Should I go down that route just for comedy value for the pod? Would you like to see me in a CelticFC man bun, Dara?
I thought you were going to Turkey over the summer. I thought that's what you told me.
Yeah, that's what I was considering it. But I'll tell you what I see a lot of in my feed. This Brazilian guy who has these people coming in, and it's basically a wig, but it's a wig that's designed to look exactly like your hair, and you grow out the sides, and then he slaps this thing on and he cuts all around it, and the results are just unbelievable. I'm going to show some of them sometime. It instantly takes 20 years off the guy, but it's a glued on syrup, and
I don't want hair. I don't want hair in this heat.
No, everybody knows me as a baldy. Imagine walking about with a glued on wig on the top of your head. That would be absolutely horrific.
It sounded as if for a minute there I thought you were going to say that was this season's sponsorship, Gav. Sponsored by the glue on syrup.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave you with that. I'm with you, Smell the Glove. I'm staying a baldy and proud. Absolutely.
I'm trying my best.
Absolutely. Great to see you, Tony. Haven't seen you in a while. There's Tony Casty saying hello. The multilingual Tony Casty used to shout greetings to our Japanese and Korean players outside Celtic Park, or indeed Ibrox, I think it was, famously. And good to see everyone in the chat as always. You know, there's 3 people on screen, but really there's a whole bunch of us. If you could stifle your yawn there, Dara, then you're still interested as I wrap up the show. We'll go out.
Jet lag is still killing me.
Jet lag. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dara and Stephen and everyone in the chat. As always, tactical review is on in like an hour and a half or whatever it is, 1:30 p.m., I believe. And we will be back on, the next show, Thursday's show. Until then, cheerio, lads. Thanks one and all.
Cheers. Hail, hail.
Thanks, Gav. Hell.